What do you want to achieve in your life? Some things that I've been working on achieving is having more freedom of time, making money from my passions and my creative projects, and making more than enough money for my needs. And sometimes it feels like it's taking an eternity for those things to really manifest, even though they're all happening in perfect timing the way that they're supposed to. If you too have something in your life that you're trying to accomplish and you feel like you've been doing the work, but it's just not happening yet, or maybe you haven't even been doing the work, but you just don't know where to start. If you even spend just one day being aware of your thoughts, it will become incredibly clear what is actually holding you back. The thing is, we've gotten so used to living with that voice in our head that we don't even realize how much it's dictating our lives. It's kind of like when you place something in your room, you get so used to it being there that you kind of forget it's there and you don't notice it anymore. You live with this roommate who on a daily basis is constantly analyzing and criticizing and narrating and dictating your life. And so because you're so used to it always happening, you've probably even drowned that voice out a lot of the time. You may have become a little bit oblivious to it and to how often this voice in your head sabotages your growth. But of course, the root of this voice, of this inner annoying roommate that we live with, is our beliefs about ourselves and about the world. So that really is the root of what holds us back from really reaching our potential, is our limiting beliefs that are deep rooted, that literally determine the lens in which we view the world, and especially the lens in which we view ourselves. So we've talked about our thoughts, that inner voice inside our head that's always talking, always analyzing, always criticizing, always going back and forth, whatever. Some of you may have a more healthy relationship with that voice in your head. Some of you may be better at shutting it out, or some of you may experience a lot more mental chatter than others. But regardless, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There is not a single person in this world that has never experienced a struggle with what the voice inside their head is saying. So we've talked about our thoughts and how the root of those thoughts is our beliefs, but also what we need to talk about is our words, because our words, the things that we actually speak, are reaffirming those beliefs. Our words are more than just words. The language that we use in our everyday lives determines the way that our brain connects the neurons. So even if you're doing the work to get there and taking the action to get there, if you even spend one day observing your thoughts, your self-talk, your inner chatter, or even your verbal words to others, you may realize exactly what beliefs are holding you back from actually getting there, from actually reaching your potential, such as, that's too expensive, I'm so cheap, I'm so broke, I can't afford that, that's too much work, that's too much effort, I'm so far away, how will I ever get there, how will my work ever be as good as this person's? There are many examples of these thoughts that come up on a daily basis that reflect our inner core beliefs. The reason I've decided to actually make this video in the first place is because I have been struggling immensely lately with aligning my energy to abundance and to wealth. I've just had so much anxiety about money lately. Anytime I have bought anything recently, I've noticed this really negative self-talk afterwards. Just telling myself that I cannot spend any more money. Why did I buy that? I shouldn't have bought that. I'm gonna need this money for a million other things. I have been in this energy for reasons that I don't need to explain right now, but the point is that I've really observed my anxious, negative energy around money lately, and that is what inspired me to make this video, because I know that in that energy, I am never going to actually reach these goals of making a lot of money when I'm in that energy of lack, because I'm having all of these negative thoughts and feelings that are stemming from my limiting beliefs about money. So I took it upon myself yesterday to do this little exercise, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. It's very simple, but I want to finish what I was saying about kind of defining those beliefs. So some of you may know exactly what beliefs are holding you back. You already know. But some of you may need to do some inner work to find them because they are so deep-rooted, or because maybe you've never been that observant to your thoughts before. You may want to think about what sort of thoughts cause you to quit or to never start in the first place. Such as if there's something that you've been wanting to pursue for some time, but you never actually do, because every time your heart gives you that urge to do it, your analytical mind gets in the way, and you start thinking of all these reasons, excuses, or fears as to why you shouldn't or can't. Or maybe you have actually found the courage to start pursuing that thing, but then you keep putting it down. And that is often what happens. We'll get some sort of urge or desire for something, but then our analytical mind stops us from doing it. For example, sometimes I'll be working on a video to create for you guys, and then I get so insecure about it that I literally have to shut off my computer and just walk away and do something else, because I'll start having all of these limiting thoughts about myself and about my content, and my insecurities coming to the surface. So if I were trying to define what my limiting beliefs are that are holding me back, I would think about what those sort of thoughts are that come up, that stop me from either pursuing something or stop me in the midst of pursuing something. Or think about the times that you doubt yourself. What are those reasons that you doubt yourself? Or thinking about what you're most scared of. Now, if you feel called to do so, then write down each of these blocks that are holding you back from your pursuit of happiness, or from following your dreams, or whatever it is for you. I know a lot of times we watch these videos and then as soon as they tell you to actually do something, we lose motivation or interest and then move on. But I do highly encourage you to actually do this, because this is so helpful. I did this yesterday and it really helped me, because this first part of just defining them and writing them down is going to allow us to become aware of them. But the second part is really powerful. Once you do that, now try writing a response to each of these as to why they may not be true, or what caused you to develop that belief in the first place. And if you're struggling doing this part, think about what you would say if it was actually not you, but someone else that was expressing these insecurities or concerns to you, and how you would comfort them, what you would say to them. So at this time, I actually want to share with you some examples of the things that I wrote. Even though it is very personal and intimate, I do think it's really valuable to share, because you probably relate to this. So one of the limiting beliefs that I wrote down is that money is hard to make and takes a lot of time and effort. And my response to that was, it's not. It can be made very easily when in the right energy and alignment. The only reason why I think that is because I grew up with my mom struggling financially really badly. I would often see how stressed she would get when the bills would come in the mail. And so, of course, as a growing and developing adolescent, it's very likely that I learned from that behavior and that negative talk about money and bills, and that I kind of stored that in my subconscious. And this can also root from ancestral trauma as well, because my mom's entire family was very poor as well. And so this sort of ancestral trauma about money or about anything else in another scenario can be passed down. And I also wrote that there are many people out there with the resources to pay for the value that I have to give. Another limiting belief that I wrote down was that because the future is uncertain, I have to be scarce with money, because that is one of the reasons that's been really causing my anxiety about money lately, is the future being so uncertain. And my response to that was, the future being uncertain is exciting. If it were predictable, that would be boring. The money will come the more I live life and have experiences, because that is what will shape me into a better person, make me a more interesting person, and show me more about myself and about life, and show me new opportunities, ones that I was closed off to before. I deserve to experience life now, not sometime in the future. the future is not even guaranteed. So those are some examples of how I've began to work through and break through and rewire those limiting beliefs about money. And that wasn't the only thing I wrote. I also wrote about all of my other triggers and insecurities about myself, but those are obviously very personal, so we won't get into that right now. So how does this help? Just simply writing that down obviously is not going to change everything overnight, but it is a way to make some progress, to rewire those beliefs and start thinking in a more positive, healthy way. Because it is true that when you think new thoughts, you create new neural connections in the brain. For example, when you think the same thoughts again and again and again, it fires neurons in a certain way. So every time you think that thought, those neurons become more and more wired together. But when you think a different thought, you fire new neurons and those begin to wire together. But why I really like this exercise is that not only are you thinking new thoughts, but you're actually believing them. You're coming to these realizations as to why those old thoughts may actually not be true. So although you can't expect sudden change from this exercise, it does plant a new seed in your mind that you can continue to water. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I really hope that this was helpful. I really hope it added value to you. I really hope it resonated with you. And if it did, then make sure to give it a like. That really helps support me in the YouTube algorithm. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, then make sure to subscribe and put on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. But other than that, I really hope that I see you in my next video, and I hope you decide to be a part of the Safe Space community. Thank you so very much. I'm sending you all the good vibes, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.